Hello, and welcome to Time Out with Tracy Ann. Thank you for joining me on this third episode. I want to take this week and talk about some ways that we can engage all five of our senses and create mindful moments that will allow us to de-stress, recenter, and refocus on our day to day. So, settle in and let's take a time out. Well, hello. Welcome to Time Out with Tracy, and I want to start this week off just a little bit differently. The last couple of weeks have been a tad bit stressful for me across the board. So, what usually helps me recenter is taking a pause and taking deep breaths, deep, controlled breaths. So, let's start with that today. I want you to get in a comfortable position, preferably with your feet flat on the ground. You can place your hands somewhere comfortable if they're on your legs, or if you're sitting at a desk, place them on your desk. But just sit comfortably and allow your body to just kind of relax and settle into the position that you're in. Okay? Now, once you get there, I want you to close your eyes and try to be in a space that's quiet and settle your mind. I want you to take a long, deep breath in through your nose and blow it out your mouth. Eyes still closed. Long, deep breath in through your nose. And control your breath as you're exhaling through your mouth. One more time through your nose. And control the breath as you're exhaling. Now this, I'm not going to say it's a trick, but it actually helps when I'm in a tizzy, or if something happens and I need to figure out something quick and I find myself kind of getting into this, what I call almost a tailspin. It helps me recenter, calm myself down, and then I can focus better on what it is I'm doing. And sometimes I could be doing nothing and my mind is just going, and I need to center my thoughts or capture my thoughts or control my thoughts so I can just be settled in the moment. Breathing does a lot for you, especially people that deal with anxiety or panic attacks. If you can focus enough on your breathing, you can control that. Now, one thing about being self-aware and things we've been talking about, and being aware and how we can be present in the moment and actually realizing how we function and how we move and understanding ourselves, we know when we about to hit a tailspin. I'm aware enough to know when I'm about to tailspin, and I'm like, okay, I need to step away from a situation, people, places. I need to use PTO time, sick time, whatever you need to do. I think you are well enough, even if you're not sure what to do, but you're well enough, you're aware enough to know when you're about to get in those situations. So that's part of being self-aware, is knowing, uh-oh, I see what I'm about to do. I don't need to do that. This is one thing you can quickly and easily do. You can even be sitting in a meeting and you're fuming about something and you need to calm yourself down. You can quietly no one even knows. You need to find the things that can work for you. So now we've gotten that out of the way. I hope you guys have had an enjoyable week, days, this month, as we're going into learning some more mindful things that we can take along with us. So what do we do? What do I do when I feel that I'm in a place where I'm super stressed? Work is doing all the things that work does. You know, people say they're getting your money's worth. When your job is getting their money's worth, life things are happening, and it just seems like there's something and something and then something and then something else, and you just like, wait a minute, it's too much. First, I want to tell you that it's okay for you to say, this is just too much. I need to take a step back, take a time out, and I need to regroup, right? So I want to give you some things that I do to help me decompress, de-stress, recenter. In addition to the breathing, I want to give you 5 things that you can think about and how you can draw yourself back in. 5 things that I correlate with one of the 5 senses, right? Sight, taste, smell, hearing, and touch. One of those 5, if not all 5, is an activity or something that I can use to help me decompress. Okay, 5 senses. Let's start with sight. Sight is pretty self-explanatory. What are you looking at? What do you engage with? Or something that you can just look at and it calms you. It brings you peace. It's just enjoyable. Brings you joy. Now, a couple of things for me, as far as sight, is one of my most all-time favorite things to do, and it's a very good mindful activity, is color. I love to color. And so much so, I created my own coloring book, several actually. But coloring is a way to engage your mind. It helps you center, it helps you focus, and it takes your mind off of all of the random things that you could possibly be thinking of. Why? Because you're focusing on what you're doing. Now, if you're anything like me, if I'm super hyper focused on something, I can really zone out everything else. Nothing else is on my mind except this one thing. And coloring does that for me. So what I choose to color is just as important as the color that I choose to color in. So most everybody in the whole world of people that know me know my favorite color is green. Love green. So if I'm having a very stressful day and I choose to color to decompress, what's going to be my go-to? Green. So even as I am focusing my attention on what I'm choosing to color, my choice in color also calms me because green is my favorite color. So seeing the color green evokes an emotion in me. It evokes something in me. It's such a joyful thing for me. So if I choose to color, I will choose 9 times out of 10 to color in green or some variation of the color green because it calms me down. Now, even in using green, if it's not like a super stressful something and I just kind of want to zone out and just color anything, I may do multiple colors. So coloring sight for me, coloring is an activity that grounds me. The next thing, sight wise, I love nature. I'm a cloud chaser. Yes, I will chase clouds. If I see something in the sky, I'm like, oh, that looks like or a beautiful sunset. I will literally get off of the freeway or off of the road, circle back, and sit and watch the clouds. Sight. Sunsets. If I see the sun is about to set, sometimes I'll find a bridge or somewhere elevated and I'll sit and watch the sunset. I love the beach. I love to watch the sunset on the beach. Sight. These are things that calm me. They allow me to be centered. They allow my mind to just be free of any hustle bustle or whatever's going on in the day. If only in those few moments, sight. Those are the things that work for me. What are some things that you may use that trigger that emotion of calm and peace and joy and happiness by sight? The next sentence, smell. I don't know if you've ever been somewhere and you catch whiff or something and it's almost like nostalgic and you'd be like, oh, I remember that reminds me of being in the kitchen with my grandmother when she was baking, or oh, that reminds me of the holidays. That's why you'd see certain fragrances that are only around, or certain candle scents that are only around during the holidays. Smell. There's something that comes with a certain smell that also evokes emotions. And sometimes smells can be triggering. It can take you back to a traumatic time. So it kind of works both ways. But knowing the things that bring you that peace and joy and calm and nostalgia is something that we can be aware of. Now, my thing for smell, as bad as my allergies can be, I love the smell of fresh cut grass. It is just the most amazing thing to me. Like, I don't even know, do they make a candle scent that smells like grass? I know there's one for laundry, but is there one for grass? I need to look into that. But it's just something about the smell of fresh cut grass for me that may have something to do with me enjoying being in nature and being outside. But whatever that thing for you is, mine is fresh cut grass. What is that thing that evokes that emotion, that part of you? What is that scent for you? It could be a favorite fragrance of a grandparent, a parent, or someone you love or loved, and it gives you a sense of calm and peace. It could be the smell of pizza. Whatever it is, no judgment, But as long as you're aware of what that is, we can use these things to help us come back and recenter, or at least step away from these stressful moments that we may have in life. Smell. What is yours? Now, piggybacking off of the fresh cut grass, the scent of fresh cut grass for me and the smell, one of the touch points for me is also grass. I told you I love being outside, I love nature, is walking barefoot in the grass. Touch. It's something about the feel of grass under my feet. There's a term for it, it's called grounding. And if I have stressful days, if the weather is great, sometimes if I'm away and I'm at a hotel and they have a nice lawn, shoes off, walking through the grass. Again, I'm outside, but touch. For you, it may be the feel of cotton or a satin sheet or the fleece on a blanket or the lining of a jacket or a coat. What brings you that? What provokes that emotion in you? Just simply by the touch, how it feels. What is that for you? Write that down. These are things I'm trying to help you get into the habit of what your go-tos are. Because sometimes in a moment you're frazzled or whatever, and you need to be like, oh, let me find this thing, right? So I could kill two with one. Fresh cut grass, smell, touch, grounding, walking in the grass barefoot. That knocks two out for me, right? And if I want to add yet another sense to that, I would say the next would be the sense hearing. Hearing. So if I'm so fortunate enough to have fresh cut grass, be able to be walking outside in the grass barefoot, what about the sound of the birds chirping? Or just the sound of being outside? Another thing that I love are waterfalls. And it's something about the sound of water that is calming and soothing to me. And I know that is for a lot of people. But the water, the sound of nature, birds chirping. I know there are several mornings, especially when the seasons change and we're going from winter into spring into summer. Many mornings I come outside, and I live in a pretty wooded area, so there are a lot of trees around my house, and I will stop and listen to the birds. And it's like the most beautiful melodious sound if you just pause and listen. And I always I wonder if birds had a language, what would you be saying? What would they be saying? But you can identify at least 4 or 5 or 6 different types because the sounds are different. But for some reason, they all just kind of come in unison, and it's just a beautiful thing for me. So if I'm sitting outside, smelling fresh cut grass, able to walk in grass barefoot, and the birds get to sing to me, that's a beautiful day. That's a go-to for me, listening to the birds. I also love music. That's a calming thing. Know the right type of music. Because some music you can listen to, it makes you drive a little fast, it gives you a little hype. But then there's some music that you know will calm you down. Music is a very great go-to for me, as well as listening or being outside and listening to nature. So hearing is the other. The fifth and final sense that I make a connection to that helps calm and ground me is taste. And one thing that always get me to a happy place is hot chocolate. I don't care what time of year it is. It could be 80, 90 degrees outside. If I get a cup of hot chocolate, I'm in heaven. It is just the most amazing bear hug that I could give myself. And I think it's because it's nostalgic. It gives me a sense of holiday. The holidays, Christmas is like my most favorite time of year. So just the taste of hot chocolate with marshmallows and add a little cream, a little flavor in there. It's like a beautiful hug, even on a hot summer day, to me, right? So I know these things about me. I'm aware of these things about me. And knowing these is a quick go-to. Stressed out, what can I do? What do I need to do? Let me grab a cup of hot chocolate. I'm just gonna go outside and take a walk and listen to the birds. Even some things as simple as the noise of the freeway, or just something that you can focus your mind and your attention on. Engage your senses. Engage your senses, because it will draw your focus to that, not it. When you engage your senses, it draws your focus to that, not it. Whatever your it is. If it's a boss, your director, an annoying coworker, a child that's just won't give you 5 minutes to yourself, or whatever that it is. Try this. All 5, 1, 2, however many. Define what those things are for you and make them your default. I see that. I see I'm about to spin. Catch yourself. Choose one of the senses and go to your go-to. Your go-to. It seems really simple. Seems kind of easy, right? Just as easy as it is to do, it's easy for people not to do. Find what works best for you. However silly, however simple, whatever it is. Find your 5 go-to. Write them down until it's just almost your default. You'll be like, oh, I know, let me go do this. Let me go get this. Let me surround myself and engage my senses till I can come back to my usual, normal self. All right? Remember, we're being mindful. We're learning how to be mindful for ourselves. We ain't comparing ourselves to anybody else. This is about you. What works for you. So even if somebody tells you, girl, why are you outside with your shoes off? How can you? It doesn't work for them. It works for you. Remember, we're being self-full. Finding the things that work for us. Write down your 5 things. Because we're capturing our thoughts so we can control our actions and ultimately take control and create the lives that we want. I want you to be sure that you do not miss an episode. So be sure to follow me on Facebook at Time Out with Traci Ann. Also on Instagram at the Traci Ann. And also follow me on YouTube at Traci Ann Moore.